Most people think the reason they feel broke is because they don't make enough. And sure, sometimes that's true, but a lot of the time two people can make almost the same salary. And one is calm, sleeping fine, building savings, while the other is living paycheck to paycheck, stressed and constantly confused. And it's not because one person is smarter. It's not even because one person budgets better. It's because their paycheck is getting quietly shredded before it ever hits their life. Hi, my name is Matt, and in this video we will be talking about auditing your paycheck to find the hidden pattern that decides whether you feel stable or broke. Before we jump in, hit subscribe if you like practical money videos that are simple, real life, and actually usable. Alright, here's the setup. I'm going to walk you through a paycheck audit framework that I use when I'm trying to understand why someone who should be fine isn't fine. And when I say audit 50 paychecks, I'm not claiming I hacked into 50 people's payroll portals. I'm talking about looking at real pay stubs, real benefit elections, real deductions, and real monthly commitments, either from people who share them publicly, clients who anonymize them, or realistic composites based on actual payroll structures. The goal isn't to shame anyone. The goal is to identify the weird pattern nobody talks about. And the pattern is this: stability is not about your gross pay. It's about your take-home pay minus fixed commitments. That's it. That's the whole cheat code. But we need to unpack it because fixed commitments are where the entire game gets decided. So let's start with the most common misunderstanding. People talk about salary like it's the number that matters. My salary is $70,000. Cool. That number is a headline. It's not your life. Because your life runs on what actually lands in your checking account. And even that number isn't the whole story, because the checking account number can look decent while your obligations are quietly eating it alive. So I want to break this into 3 layers. First, what disappears before you see the money. Second, what you promise to pay every month no matter what. Third, the gap between those 2 numbers, your breathing room. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. Your breathing room is your real income. Let's talk about what disappears before you touch it. When you get paid, the money doesn't travel from your employer to your bank account in one clean jump. It gets stopped at like 12 toll booths, and most people don't even know what half of them are. A typical pay stub includes federal income tax withholding, state and local withholding, Social Security and Medicare, health insurance premiums, dental and vision, HSA or FSA contributions, retirement contributions like a 401k or 403b, maybe a commuter benefit, maybe life insurance or disability, maybe garnishments, maybe union dues. None of these are automatically bad, but together they create completely different realities. Here's a simple example. Person A and Person B both make $80,000 a year. Same city, same job level, same everything. Person A is single, chooses a high deductible plan, puts $150 per paycheck into an HSA, contributes 6% to the 401k, and has pretty standard withholding. Person B has a more expensive PPO, adds a spouse, adds a kid, contributes 10% to the 401k because they're trying to catch up, and their withholding is set extra high because they're terrified of owing at tax time. Both of them earn $80,000, but their paychecks can be hundreds of dollars apart every single pay period. And here's the emotional part. Person B feels like they're doing the right things, and they are, but they also feel like they're suffocating. This is where people get stuck. They start attacking the wrong problem. They'll say, I need a side hustle, or I need to invest better. Meanwhile, the actual issue is their paycheck is being structured in a way that leaves them with no margin. So step 1 of the audit is this: write down your gross pay and then write down your net pay. If you don't know your net pay, go look. Not what you think you take home, what you actually take home, then calculate your net pay rate. Net pay divided by gross pay. Some people take home 75% of gross. Some people take home 55%. Some people take home even less. That gap is not moral, it's math. But it matters because it determines how hard the next layer hits you. Now let's talk about fixed commitments, which are the promises you can't easily break. Fixed commitments are the bills you pay even if your month goes sideways. Rent or mortgage, car payment, insurance, minimum debt payments, childcare, phone and internet. Subscriptions you can cancel but won't. Any payment you would feel panic if you missed. I'm not talking about groceries or gas. Those can flex. I'm talking about the stuff that is basically locked in. And here's the pattern I kept seeing. People don't get crushed by one big bill. They get crushed by a stack of fixed commitments that gradually harden over time. You get a car payment because you needed reliable transportation. Then you get a nicer apartment because the commute was killing you. Then you upgrade your phone because you use it every day. Then you put a vacation on a payment plan because you were burnt out. Then you add a streaming bundle because it's only 19 bucks. Then you finance furniture because you moved. Then you sign up for a gym you don't go to because you feel guilty. Then you pick the health plan that feels safe. Then you do buy now, pay later because it's interest free. None of these is evil, but collectively they turn your income into a tight hallway where any surprise knocks you over. So step 2 of the audit is this: list your fixed commitments, not monthly spending, monthly obligations. I want you to do it in buckets. First bucket, must pay bills. Rent or mortgage, car, insurance, debt minimums, childcare. Second bucket, soft fixed bills, subscriptions, memberships, services, payment plans. Third bucket, annual but real bills, car registration, taxes, premiums, holiday travel. If you only look at monthly, you miss the annual traps. Annual bills are like potholes. You're fine until you hit one. Now we get to the part that decides who sleeps at night. The breathing room number. Breathing room equals take-home pay minus fixed commitments. This number predicts your stress level better than your salary does. Because breathing room is what you have left for food, gas, utilities, health stuff, clothes, repairs, small fun, and ideally saving. Now I want to show you 3 paycheck profiles that represent what I kept seeing. First profile, the looks rich, feels broke paycheck. This person might make $95,000. From the outside, that sounds amazing, but their take home is maybe $5,000 a month because of high deductions. Then their fixed commitments are rent at $2,300, a car at $650, insurance at $250, student loan minimums at $400, phone and internet at $160, subscriptions and memberships at $120, and payment plans at $200. That's $4,080 fixed. Breathing room is $920. $920 is not nothing, but it's not rich. It's groceries, utilities, gas, and life. A single dental bill can erase 2 months of margin. A car repair can erase 4. A friend's wedding can erase all of it, so they feel broke, and then they blame their spending. But the truth is, their fixed stack is too high for their net. Second profile, the lower income, higher calm paycheck. This person makes $62,000. Sounds like they should be struggling, right? But they chose a cheaper car, they live with a roommate or in a modest place, and they have fewer locked-in payments. Take home might be $3,700. Fixed commitments, rent share at $1,100, car at $280, insurance at $170, debt minimums at $200, phone and internet at $120, and subscriptions at $40. Fixed total is $1,910. Breathing room is $1,790. They're not living like a king, but they have margin. They can save. They can handle surprises. They can say yes to a weekend trip without wrecking their month. That is stability. Third profile, the high income, no margin paycheck. This one is the most painful because it feels like a prank. They make $140, but their take home is $7,000 because they max retirement, have expensive benefits, and withhold a lot. Fixed commitments, mortgage at $3,600, 2 car payments at $1,200, childcare at $1,800, insurance at $400, debt minimums at $500, phone and internet at $200. Fixed total is $7,700. Breathing room is -$700. So what do? They float it on cards, they use points, they shuffle balances, they tell themselves it'll get better next month. They are high income and financially fragile. That's the weird pattern nobody talks about. Financial fragility is created by fixed commitments outrunning take-home pay, not by lattes, not by vibes, by math. Now I want to make this practical. This works even if you're hourly, commission-based, gig work, or self-employed. The only difference is you use averages. If your pay changes every week, don't use your best week and don't use your worst week. Use a realistic average from the last 3 months. For hourly, add up your last 6 to 8 paychecks and divide by how many you got. For commission, take the last 6 months, find the monthly average, and assume next month will be that, not the month where you crushed it. For self-employed, look at what you transfer to yourself after you set aside taxes. If you don't set aside taxes yet, your take-home number is fake, and the audit will be lying to you. Now here's the paycheck audit checklist. First, pull your last pay stub. If you get paid twice a month, grab one. If you get paid bi-weekly, grab one. If you're self-employed, use your average monthly owner pay after taxes. Second, write down 3 numbers: gross per paycheck, net per paycheck, and total monthly net. Multiply appropriately based on your pay schedule. Third, Highlight everything that's a choice. On your deductions list, circle the stuff you can adjust. Retirement percentage, HSA or FSA contributions, withholding settings or extra withholding, benefit plan selection during open enrollment, optional insurances or add-ons. You are not trying to eliminate these, you are trying to understand them. Because sometimes the fix is not cutting spending. It's rebalancing your deductions so you can breathe. Fourth, list fixed commitments in 2 columns, required fixed and soft fixed, then total them. Fifth, calculate breathing room, monthly net minus fixed commitments. Now interpret it. If breathing room is over 25% of your net, you likely feel okay. If it's 10 to 25%, you're probably tight but functional. If it's under 10%, you're in the danger zone. If it's negative, you're in the debt treadmill. Those percentages aren't a law of physics, they're just a reality check. Now when people see this, they usually ask, okay Matt, what do I do if my breathing room is tiny? There are a lot of tactics, but there are 3 levers that move the needle the fastest. First lever, reduce fixed commitments starting with the biggest 2. The biggest fixed commitments are usually housing, car, childcare, and debt. You can't budget your way out of a payment that's too big. If your rent is 55% of your take-home pay, you're not bad with money. You're in a math trap. So the first lever is to attack the top 2 fixed commitments. For housing, that can mean roommates, moving a little farther out, negotiating rent on renewal, downsizing, or if you own, something like renting out a room. For cars, it can mean selling and buying used, refinancing if rates make sense, extending the term as a temporary relief valve, not a forever plan, or getting out of a second car if possible. This lever is painful because it's lifestyle, but it's also the only lever that permanently increases breathing room. Second lever, fix the invisible payroll issues. This one surprises people. Sometimes the easiest win is not in your spending, it's in your payroll setup. Common issues include withholding too much because you're scared of owing, not understanding your tax situation after a life change, retirement contributions set aggressively while you're carrying high-interest debt, and choosing a benefit plan that doesn't match your actual usage. Let me be super clear. I'm not telling you to stop investing. I'm not telling you to underpay taxes. I'm saying if you are drowning, you need oxygen first. If you're contributing 15% to retirement but you can't pay rent without a card, you're not being responsible. You're starving your present to feed your future, and then you're borrowing to survive. That's backwards. A paycheck audit helps you rebalance. Maybe it's 6% retirement until debt is under control. Maybe it's adjusting withholding after you run a proper estimator. Maybe it's changing plans during open enrollment to something cheaper. These are levers that can increase net pay without changing your salary. Third lever, consolidate or refinance high-interest debt. High-interest debt is basically a fixed commitment that grows teeth. If you have credit card minimums, personal loan payments, or buy now pay later stacks, those are fixed commitments, and they steal breathing room every month. The win here is not paying it off instantly. The win is lowering the monthly obligation so you can stop the bleeding. Strategies include paying highest interest first, using a balance transfer if you can actually pay it down during the promo period, using a consolidation loan if the rate is meaningfully lower and you stop using the cards, or negotiating hardship options if things are truly bad. The key is don't optimize, stabilize. So why does nobody talk about this? Because our culture worships gross income. It's a scoreboard number. It's easy to compare. It's a brag, but gross income ignores taxes, benefits, retirement elections, family situation, debt history, and childcare reality. It's like comparing 2 people's speed without looking at whether one is running uphill carrying a backpack. And the other reason is psychological. Fixed commitments creep up slowly. No one wakes up and says, today I will lock in 92% of my take-home pay. It happens in tiny steps. You buy convenience when you're tired. You finance things when you're overwhelmed. You choose safety options when you're anxious. You keep subscriptions because canceling feels like admitting failure. Then one day you realize your paycheck is already spent before you even get it. A paycheck audit is basically you turning on the lights. Now let's make this even simpler with a target you can aim for. Try to keep fixed commitments at or below 60% of your take-home pay. That leaves 40% for everything else. For most people, that creates breathing room. If you're at 70%, you're tight. If you're at 80%, you're fragile. If you're above that, you're one surprise away from debt. Again, not a law, but a useful boundary. If you're watching this and thinking, Matt, I'm at like 95%, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to tell you that's why it feels impossible. Now here's the missing piece that makes the audit even more accurate: annual and semi-annual bills. Because a lot of people will run the math and say, wait, my breathing room is $900, I should be fine. And then they're not fine because their real breathing room is getting ambushed by stuff that doesn't show up as a monthly bill. Think about car registration, property taxes if escrow isn't covering it, insurance premiums paid every 6 months, holiday travel, back to school spending, and the one-time oops bills like vet, dental, glasses, tires. Here's the simple fix: turn annual bills into a monthly line item. If your car registration is $240 a year, that's $20 a month. If you spend about $1,200 on holiday stuff, that's $100 a month. If you know you'll have a $900 insurance premium twice a year, that's $150 a month. When you add these up, you get a number I call your sinking fund total. You calculated $920 breathing room, but your annual and sinking total is $350. Your true breathing room is $570. That explains why you feel like you're constantly playing defense. So after you run the basic audit, do this: list the predictable annual bills, divide by 12, add that as a fixed commitment line, recalculate. Now the next question is, how do I actually change any of this? Here's the practical, non-dramatic approach. For payroll changes, if your withholding is weird, use an official estimator, then update your W-4 or local equivalent so you're not giving the government an interest-free loan. If your retirement percentage is too aggressive for your current reality, lower it temporarily and set a calendar reminder to raise it later. If benefits are crushing you, put a note in your phone for open enrollment and compare plans like a normal purchase. Pick the bundle that fits your life. And if you're thinking, I don't even know who to ask, the answer is your HR portal, your payroll department, or your benefits administrator. You don't need to tell them your life story. For fixed bills, don't try to change 5 things at once. Pick one big bill and one small bill. One big bill might be car insurance, shop it. One small bill might be subscriptions, cancel 2. And here's my favorite rule: any new monthly payment has to come with a breathing room check. Before you sign anything, you do the math. After this, do I still have at least 20 to 25% breathing room? If the answer is no, that payment is not a purchase, it's a stress subscription. Do this audit anytime one of these happens. You change jobs, you move, you get a raise, you add a family member to benefits, or you take on any new debt. Because those are the moments when your financial reality shifts. And if you don't update the system, you'll keep living like your old numbers still apply. Let me end the main idea with a story I see all the time. Someone gets a raise. They're excited, they think, finally, this is it. Their gross pay goes up, let's say $400 a month, but then their withholding adjusts, they bump retirement contributions, they upgrade health coverage, they move to a nicer place because they feel like they earned it. They upgrade the car because they want reliability. They add a couple subscriptions because life has been hard. And 3 months later they say, I swear I make more, but I feel the same. That's because the raise didn't increase breathing room. The raise got absorbed into fixed commitments and deductions. So the lesson is this: a raise only changes your life if it increases your breathing room. That's the pattern. Alright, so here's the wrap up. If you feel like your money disappears, don't start by blaming your willpower. Start by running a paycheck audit. Look at what you actually take home. List your fixed commitments, calculate your breathing room, because stability isn't something you magically earn one day. Stability is engineered by making sure your obligations don't outrun your take-home pay. And once you see your breathing room number, you'll know exactly what needs to change. Either reduce the fixed stack, rebalance the payroll deductions, or restructure expensive debt. Do that, and you won't just budget better. You'll actually feel different month to month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.